Hey, what's going on, beautiful people? I'm here for a little bit of a different type of a video today because something kind of sort of hit home for me. I was on Craigslist looking for, I don't know if you guys have ever seen those decorative vases where you can put the little decorative, I don't know how to describe it, y'all. It's those little scroll pieces of, I don't really know how to describe it. Anyway, it's a tall vase, okay? I found this 3-foot tall vase on Craigslist. It was gold. The pictures the dude had on there just looked really, really cute. He said he was basically redecorating his entire house. Well, you know what rich folks do. He said his wife was getting all new furniture and all that stuff, and she was trying to get rid of all the knick-knacky things. Why she wasn't the one who was putting this stuff on Craigslist, I have no earthly idea. But of course, me being the paranoid person that I am, something just didn't sit right with me about, you know, it was a stock photo. It wasn't an actual photo of the vase. And how, you know, a lot of people, they'll take a picture of the vase in their house, and you can tell a professional picture from a picture that somebody just randomly took with their phone. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm taking a picture of something trying to sell it on Craigslist, I'm gonna just snap the picture with my phone. It ain't gonna be no stock photo offline. So some just was like, you need to just stay the fuck off of Craigslist, okay? Because I had, y'all, it's been so long since I bought. Matter of fact, did I ever buy anything on Craigslist? I know I sold something on Craigslist before. I sold an iPhone on Craigslist before. And I met the dude on the university. But I don't think I ever bought anything off there that I can remember. I don't know, I probably have. But anyway, probably been so long ago. But of course, me being the paranoid person that I am, I went online and just looked up some random ass stories about Craigslist things. My sister don't play around with that Craigslist shit, y'all. She showed enough paranoid when it comes to the Craigslist, girl. Talking about how they be killing folks and shit on Craigslist, which is true. So I ran across 10 crazy ass stories that are true from people meeting folks on Craigslist, whether it be to get a job, sell some shit, or whatever. Let me read y'all a couple of these things, okay? The first one, number 10. I don't know if I'm going to get through all of these. I'm going to try, okay? I'm going to try to read kind of fast or, you know, as slow as possible. But y'all, this is some scary stuff. Stay off any type of social media site buying anything for folks you don't know. Just says, unless, even if you taking your boo thing with you or a man with you or something like that, ladies, you got people who are out there kidnapping dudes too. Did you not know that there's an elderly couple who was kidnapped and killed by some psychopath from Craigslist because they were trying to sell him a car or something like that? We got to be careful on this Craigslist shit. But let me read y'all a few of these stories, like I said, before I run out of time. Number 10, okay? The job of a lifetime, okay? To Scott Davis, the ad seemed too good to be true. A steady $300 a week and a place to live, all for watching a secluded farm in southeastern Ohio. The job of a lifetime. Davis, who is 48, had recently broken up with his girlfriend and was looking for a new start in life when he saw the ad on Craigslist in 2011. The ad mentioned that over 100 applicants had responded to the job posting. So Davis could barely contain his excitement when he got a call telling him that he was one of the job's finalists, okay? Which is kind of peculiar, okay? When you got people who are, you know, you got 100 applicants, 100 people who didn't apply for the job. A lot of times, you know, we go and apply for jobs, and most of the time they have one position available, and you go up in there and it's 40, 50, 60 niggas in there. You turn around and go home, because 9 times out of 9, the odds of you getting a job is, you know, slim to none, okay? So over 100 applicants, and he was the one who got a phone call. Peculiar. But let me keep reading. Like I said, he could barely contain his excitement because he was one of the job's finalists out of 100 people. All he had to do was meet his employer and check out the farm, okay? Remember, this $300 a week job, a place to live. All he doing is watching after this man farm, okay? After a final interview in a local restaurant, okay, because he interviewed him in a restaurant, Davis climbed in the back of a white Buick where his new employer, a heavyset man named Jack, okay, this dude interviewed him at, you know, second interview at a local restaurant, and I guess tried to get the man a little bit more comfortable with him, okay? So he met up with him at a restaurant, but then he decides that he want to take him on a little trip to the farm because they left a piece of equipment somewhere. Let me keep reading. Like I said, his new employer was a heavyset man named Jack. He squeezed into the front seat of the Buick. A burly teenager, whom Jack introduced as his nephew, was behind the wheel, okay? So this teenager dude pull up, pick up Jack, and then Davis, you know, got in the back seat and shit. As they drove, the road took them farther and farther away from civilization. Soon, they were surrounded by dense woodland. And not long after, the Buick creaked to a stop on a secluded stretch of a dirt road. Okay? Farther and farther from civilization. But I guess he's assuming, okay, we're going to some sort of a farm. Okay? Jack told Davis that they left some equipment just down the hill. So Davis hopped out to help them carry it up to the car. Of course, you know, because that was he was there for. He was there to be a helper, okay? So he jumped out of the car to help them carry this equipment up the hill. Jack led the way, but they somehow got turned around in the thick underbrush. And Davis found himself walking with Jack and the young man right behind him. Davis heard the click of a gun hammer, okay? So he walking in front of Jack and this teenager dude because they somehow got turned around and he, by that time, he was in front of them. So he heard the click of a gun hammer. And then when he heard the click of that gun hammer, he spun towards the sound. So when he spun towards the sound, a bullet shattered his elbow, okay? Mind you, this is the dude who went for the interview thinking he finna get a job on this farm. Yeah, a bullet shattered his elbow. He stumbled into the woods. Behind him, Jack cursed and fired round after round at his back. They all missed. And Davis spent his next few hours creeping through the woods like a hunted animal. Blood soaking his right side, never sure if Jack or his silent accomplice would be around the next bend. Okay, so he's basically, these folks been shooting at him. And now he's basically running through the woods trying to hide and get away from them and shit, not knowing that the next damn tree he turn across, if they're going to be hiding behind this tree, okay? So he's basically in the wood being hunted like a rabid dog. Long after sunset, Davis finally found his way to a rural house, okay? That means a house deep, deep, deep in the woods, okay? Where he pleaded with the owners to call the police. Over the next few days, the horrifying reality of the situation came to light. Jack was actually a man named Richard Beasley, who used his Craigslist ad to lure men into the woods to kill them. His nephew, quote unquote, that the quiet dude, the one that was driving, his nephew was a 16-year-old boy named Brogan Rafferty. Together, the two had killed 3 men and buried their bodies in a shallow grave in the woods. In 2013, Beasley was sentenced to death. The dude who called himself Jack, who was supposedly the owner of this farm, his real name was Beasley. He was sentenced to death, and the 16-year-old boy that was with him, he was sentenced to life in prison. So yeah, you got this guy. His name is what was his name again? Scott Davis. Okay, Scott Davis thought he had found a job of a lifetime working with this dude on this farm. All he had to do was, you know, help the dude on the farm, $300 a week, a place to stay. All he had to do was look after the farm. Come to find out, this dude was a horrible liar. He was a, quote, apparently a serial killer who was luring men off of Craigslist to kill them. If that ain't some sick, sadistic shit. So you mean to tell me you just randomly luring people who you don't even know? Just, oh, I feel like killing somebody today, so I'm going to put an ad on here that I'm hiring. You put an ad on Craigslist saying that you're hiring. You get these people to meet you up at a restaurant. You put them in the back of a Buick. You take them down this long, secluded dirt road. Tell them that you left equipment down a hill. Confuse them. Get them in front of you and you shoot and kill them. But thank God this man actually got away and they got caught. Which is scary, family. That is some scary ass shit. But people probably would have found out anyway that they did it because, okay, you're in a restaurant. The people in the restaurant, I'm pretty sure, saw the dude get in the back of the Buick. So they probably would have put 2 and 2 together. The man would have came out missing. They probably would have looked back to the last people who he was seen with. But when nobody ever would have thought to go down this long, secluded dirt road and find these shallow graves. Girl, that is some scary ass shit right there. Stay off Craigslist. That was the first story. The job of a lifetime, okay? I'm probably going to have to restart this. And girl, it don't matter. I'm talking. All right. The next story. The roommate, okay? The title of this one is The Roommate. Because, you know, a lot of people get on Craigslist looking for roommates and shit, too. You know, looking for people to, you know, move in with them so they can have a little bit of extra money for the rent and shit. In 2003, Brian Bocher was looking for a roommate to help share the rent. And John Williams was looking for a place to stay. It was a match no different from thousands of others that happened on Craigslist all the time. And for a while, it looked like it would work out. That is, until Williams began acting strangely. To sweeten the deal, Bocher had offered his new roommate the only bedroom in the apartment, hoping that the added privacy would convince him to stay. It was just what Williams was looking for, because Williams had a secret. According to Bocher, Williams kept to himself a lot. Bocher could spend hours in the apartment thinking he was alone, only for Williams to suddenly walk out of his room with his head down, do whatever he had to do, and then disappear inside the dark bedroom again with only the soft click of the door's lock as a farewell. Bocher began to get worried, okay, because of course this motherfucker's acting, like he lost in the sauce, okay? You walk around, with the head down all the time, you ain't saying shit, you acting a little weird, okay? That's why you don't get strange motherfuckers to move in with you from Craigslist. You don't know this motherfucker, but sometimes I guess people get, desperate and shit. They just don't want to be homeless, so they just sit there and try to think of all types of solutions, not thinking stuff like this would happen. But y'all seen that movie, The Craigslist Killer, so, As months passed, Williams began staying away from the apartment for extended periods of time. And during one of those absences, after they'd been together for about 10 months, Bocher had had enough. He broke into the locked bedroom, intent on packing up Williams' things and sending him on his way. On the bed, he found a bulging manila envelope, and what he saw inside made his blood run cold. It was filled with torn up credit card offers that Bocher had received in the mail. Williams had been going through his trash and collecting pieces of it. Along with the shredded mail was a sheet of notebook paper with the names and addresses of Bocher's family members, including creepy personal details like the date of his parents' marriage. On another sheet of paper was Bocher's credit card information and the passwords to many of the websites he used. It was like a bizarre file on Bocher's private life. Then Bocher found a diary, and at the end of one of the entries, he found a chilling sentence. "I'm only now just starting to get over being afraid every time someone looks at me twice in the street. Every time a cop looks at me thinking they know." That's what the creepy motherfucker wrote in his diary. All it took was a quick Google search for Bocher to find his roommate on the front page of America's Most Wanted. Yes, the creepy dude was on the front page of America's Most Wanted. Months earlier, Williams, real name Dino Lawrence Smith, had pulled off a brazen jewel heist in San Francisco, making off with $10 million in diamonds. A call to the police revealed that Williams was already in custody. Bocher never found out why he'd been collecting his personal information, but he does know that the situation could have ended much worse. So this dude was looking for a roommate on Craigslist. Just so happened that this creepy dude named Williams, answered the ad and wanted to move in with him. And this person turned out to be on the front cover of America's Most wanted for a jewelry heist. What's even more creepy about other than the fact that this dude was on the front page of America's Most Wanted, is the fact that this dude was collecting personal information on his roommate. Torn up pieces of credit card information. Why the fuck would you need to know the date that my parents were married? Weird shit. I'm talking passwords to the websites that I go to. That is creepy. That man was planning something else, but by the grace of God, he got locked up. They caught him before he made it back to the house to do whatever it was he probably was planning on doing. That is some scary shit. Girl, stay off Craigslist. Okay, A Taste of Death. That's the next one. Catherine Ann Olson had recently graduated from Minnesota's St. Olaf College and was working part-time as a nanny until her career in theater kicked off. She was 24. Michael John Anderson liked to play paintball and wondered what it felt like to kill a person. He was 19. Posing as a mother named Amy, okay, because this dude named Michael John Anderson pretended like he was a woman with children. He posted an ad on Craigslist in 2007 looking for a person to babysit a child the following day. Olsen jumped at the opportunity and they made arrangements for her to show up at the house around 10 a.m. to start the job. So Catherine Ann Olsen was answering an ad on Craigslist to babysit this supposed woman named Amy's child, which Amy turned out to be Michael John Anderson, who was 19 years old. Like I said, she jumped at the opportunity, okay? According to some comments made by Olsen to her roommate, she had a weird feeling about the job, but she decided to go through with it anyway. There was no way she could have seen what was coming. So, especially if you have an inkling that something is not right, you should definitely not go through with it. Just like this whole situation with this damn base thing. Something didn't seem right about it. You got a stock photo, all this type of shit. Something ain't right. Okay? Something not right in the water. Okay? So I'm like, I'm cool on copper. Okay? After returning to the house, a rundown split level in Savage, Minnesota, Olsen was greeted by Anderson, who led her up to his bedroom on the second floor. Nobody's sure exactly what happened next, but at some point, Olsen tried to run. Anderson shot her in the back with a .357 Magnum, dragged her body down the stairs, and stuffed her in the trunk of his car. He abandoned the car a few blocks away. Then, in an attempt to destroy the evidence, Anderson crushed Olsen's cell phone and wrapped it up in a bloody towel before dropping it in a public trash can. He apparently didn't realize that the towel had his name written on it in a black marker. So in 2009, Anderson was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Okay, so this dude posed as a woman named Amy with a child and wanted Catherine to babysit, you know, the child. She had, you know, her reservations about it. She felt like it was a little weird, but she decided to go anyway. She get there. Nobody knows what happened, because I'm pretty sure this fool ain't talking. Nobody knows what happened, but in the process, she tried to run. Okay, I guess when she got up there, she realized it was a scam, and she tried to run, and he ended up shooting her in the back with a .357 Magnum, drug her body down the stairs, stuffed her in a car, and tried to destroy some evidence. But when he wrapped it in the cell phone in the damn towel and threw it in the trash can, it had his fucking name written on the towel. Just a fucking idiot. And family, that's definitely something that amazes me about the police, is the fact that you would think that if you go and just dump something in a trash can a mile or two down the road, you would think ain't nobody gonna find that shit. That's why I told y'all, you can sit there and try to kill somebody and think you finna get away with all this technology and shit they got in 2015 going into 2016. They will find you from your duty hole hair being left on the goddamn thick as shaggy carpet. They will find one piece of your damn duty hole hair on this carpet and find out you the one who killed that person. Stay off Craigslist. Whew, okay. The next one, a shallow grave, and then I'm gonna purge this and I'm gonna come back because I gotta get through with this. A shallow grave, okay? It's a saying as old as time itself. Never hire a hooker on Craigslist, and never ever pay in advance. The internet is filled with stories of women and men posing as prostitutes who then rob their clients blind and make off with the money. But those stories are nothing compared to the tragedy of 26-year-old Jennifer Payne. Payne was a prostitute working in Long Island who advertised her services on Craigslist. On March 24, 2010, she was contracted by 23-year-old Chad Johnson. Payne thought nothing of it. She just another night and another job. For $80, she agreed to meet Johnson in his car and take care of their arrangements. But things didn't go as planned, and my arm is itching. Sometimes during the rendezvous, Johnson asked for his money back. Payne refused, at which point Johnson got violent. He got his hands around her neck, and before she could scream for help, he was pressing her windpipe shut. He choked her to death and then drove to a wooden area near the Long Island Expressway and buried her body in a shallow grave. The subsequent investigation into Payne's disappearance turned up Johnson as the person who had last seen her alive. A background check revealed that Johnson was something of a serial choker who had brushes with the law in the past for assault, and he ended up leading the police to the grave he dug for Payne. Now, if that ain't some shit. And I'm going to speak on that real quick before I purge this little bit of information right here. Well, this little part right here. There's this girl that I follow on Facebook. You know, she's a transgender woman. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. When I tell you, I love watching. She makes videos and stuff on YouTube, not YouTube, on Facebook. And of course, like I said, I will not call her name, but I can clearly tell that she is she's an escort. It's very clear that she's an escort. She makes no secret about it, because she gets on there and she talks about how, you know, she's traveling in all these different places, meeting up with all these different men. And as a matter of fact, there's this other transgender woman who lives in my area. She also makes videos on Facebook, and she was basically saying how that woman, this girl taught her, you know, how to, you know, make money on Backpage and all these other websites. And every time I see her make a video and she's talking about a lot of the things that she's doing and shit like that, it makes me kind of scared for her, because it's so much that could go wrong. And don't get me wrong, she always posts photos and shit of her, you know, that she always protects herself with. She keep a gun in her purse, okay? But you never know. You got a gun, that don't mean the person that you meet up with don't have a gun too. So it makes me so afraid for her, because she's such a beautiful person, and I feel like she could be a lot more than what she's doing, okay? But I just thought that was something that I wanted to touch on really quickly. Be back in a minute. We're back. All right. Next story. I think this is number 6. I think. 10, 9, number 5. Something like that. But anyway, girl, let's keep going. On a chilly morning on August 11, 2011, Moriama Eliandre waited for hours at a Mesa County, Colorado bus station where her roommate, Louis Olivia, was supposed to pick her up after a long ride in from Denver. When he never showed, she got worried and called the police. When deputies arrived at Olivia's home, they found a grisly scene. Olivia was lying naked on an air mattress in a pool of blood. He'd been clubbed multiple times on the back of the head with a blunt object. Nobody doubted that it was murder, but finding the killer, well, that was the problem. The investigation quickly revealed that Olivia had been running a male massage service on Craigslist. Now, I've seen those several times on Craigslist where you have people who talking about they are a professional masseuse, and they'll give you, you know, a lot of people just want you to come over there so they can give you a free massage that, you know, they got a happy ending at the end. They have people that do that stuff on Craigslist, okay? So he was running one of those male massage services on Craigslist. Suspicion then fell on Olivia's partner, Brandon Walton, who lived with Olivia. Was it jealousy? A crime of passion? Not likely, since Wathan was working out of town on the night of Olivia's death. Besides, Wathan had helped Olivia set up the Craigslist sex operation months earlier, where they both been, you know, when they both were unemployed. Investigators then turned to Craigslist, records and email communications with the people whom Olivia had seen, and that's where they found their answers. All trails seemed to point to one man, an Army veteran named Billy Joe DeLacy, who'd apparently been Olivia's last customer before his death. But even that trail soon began to feel like more of a maze. DeLacy first said he'd never gone over to Olivia's. Then he admitted that he had, but he left before they'd done anything. Okay, so basically saying before they even got to do anything, he left. He then said he was paying rent at the time of the murder, but all his checks were dated after the killing. Child pornography was found on his computer. But what did that prove, since he'd stolen it in the first place? He said he couldn't talk to police long because he was soon going to be redeployed, but that the Army hadn't talked to him since 2008. So he basically told the police he couldn't talk to them for too long because he was going to be redeployed and all that good shit. But the Army hadn't had a conversation with him since 2008, and this was 2011, okay? The bizarre trail led on and on, but finally in 2012, DeLacy was arrested in Pennsylvania and indicted for first-degree murder. So he ended up killing dude after all, because the dude had set up this massage shit on Craigslist and met up with this dude, and this dude ended up killing him. Stay off Craigslist. Just saying, okay? Next one. In 2005, Timothy McDarrell was the editor of a gossip column for US Weekly. And before that, he spent more than 15 years as a columnist for the New York Post. He was well known, even respected, among certain journalist circles. But all of that came to a crashing halt when he was caught up in an FBI sting operation created to catch pedophiles. And he wasn't exactly ambiguous about his desires. In response to a Craigslist post offering New York's freshest young girls, okay, it was a Craigslist post titled New York's Freshest Young Girls, McDarrell said he wanted a white 14-year-old girl with a ponytail. So the people behind the ad set him up in a chat room with a 13-year-old named Julie. What he didn't know was that Julie was actually an FBI agent. And after over 3 months of what was likely some very disturbing conversations, McDarrell agreed to meet with the girl. He even offered to pay her for sex. What happened next is exactly what you'd expect. The FBI arrested McDarrell on his way to meet Julie. He received 72 months in jail. Y'all, okay, this is another reason why you shouldn't stay off Craigslist, okay? If you are a pedophile, get on Craigslist looking for some little girls. And let me tell you why you should do that. Because 9 times out of 10, it's going to be an FBI agent who is going to arrest and throw your ass underneath for the jail where you needs to be. You old, rankle, rusty motherfucker. Number one, you work for US Weekly and then you was a columnist for the New York Post. You are somebody, okay? Why in the hell are you just... But then again, you got people out here who are millionaires and who got tons and tons of money. Look at Jerry Fogle. Oh, decrepit ass. He up there and getting him a couple of footlongs in a penitentiary, okay? So, yeah, go on Craigslist talking about you looking for some little girls so you can end your ass up in jail with Big Bubba where you needs to be, okay? Girl, I cannot stand nasty folks. Like, y'all know how I feel about Chester the molester. So, that was kind of a happy ending right there. The fact that the FBI arrested his ass and he's spending 72 months in jail. That ain't enough time. So, in that case, go on Craigslist so you can get caught. Just saying. Number 4. In 1988, she was convicted for robbing a pharmacy in Colorado. 9 years later, she stormed into a drug recovery program with 2 handguns and demanded prescription pills. So, y'all, this is some sick shit. So but then again, they said when you strung out on drugs, you'll do any damn thing to get your high. So this woman literally stormed into a drug recovery program with 2 handguns and demanded prescription pills. When she was told there weren't any, she took the counselor hostage and spent the next hour taking pot shots at the police. What is a pot shot? I don't know what a pot shot is. But she spent the next hour taking pot shots at the police. She was finally wounded and apprehended when she hid behind a janitor's cart and used it as a rolling barricade. The judge found her not guilty by reason of insanity, of course. And she spent the next 6 years in a mental hospital. In short, Diane Warwick was not a woman who wanted taking care of you. What? In short, Diane Warwick was not a woman you wanted. Okay, not a woman you wanted taking care of. You got it. What the fuck? Did I fuck up or did they fuck up? But nobody seemed to be too interested in Warwick's past when she answered a Craigslist ad to serve as a caregiver for 70-year-old Mary Jane Scanlon in Pleasant Hill, California. So this woman who been in a mental ward for, 6 years, after having a standout with the cops for breaking into a drug recovery program to steal some prescription drugs, answered an ad on Craigslist to serve as a caregiver for a 70-year-old woman, okay, in Pleasant Hill, California. Scanlon was confined to a wheelchair, and Warwick's duties included helping Scanlon eat and getting her in and out of bed. It was all pretty routine. First and foremost, I'm going to say this to everybody. Don't go putting no ads on Craigslist looking for someone to care for your family. 9 times out of 9, you got somebody who you probably know personally who can do this. Somebody that you know and trust. So don't go putting no damn ass on Craigslist for no strangers to watch your loved ones. Number 1. Let me keep going. And then, for no apparent reason, Warren stabbed Scanlon to death. So this psychopath stabbed this woman to death. Police arrested Warwick at a nearby trailer park, and she received 31 years to life in prison. At her trial, Warwick then claimed she'd hallucinated that she was attacking her father when she killed Scanlon. So, of course, this motherfucker sitting there trying to play like she crazy again, maybe thinking she finna go back to the mental ward and be living the life, you know, living in the lap of luxury. That's probably what she thought. But no, you finna carry your funk ass to jail. If you got sense enough to answer ad on Craigslist for a job, you got sense enough to carry your ass down to the penitentiary to die. Okay? Y'all. And another thing, if you gonna sit, first of all, don't do it. But if you're gonna be posting any types of ads or anything like that on Craigslist, looking for somebody to hire and all this stuff, you need to do background checks on these people. It would have been very easy to find a background check on this woman and see that she had been in a mental institution for 6 years. To see that she done been in a damn shootout with the popo. Because I'm pretty sure that was all over damn Google, girl. You could have probably went on Google and find that shit out, girl. But shit, what year was this again? 1988. Well, there wasn't no Google back then. But shit. Stay off of Craigslist. Number 3. There's only 2 left, okay? The home invasion. James Sanders had a pretty sweet diamond ring. When he put it up for sale on Craigslist, he was hoping to bring in at least $1,000. Hoping that money might help his family. After he received a reply to the ad, he invited the prospective buyers, a young married couple, over to his house in Edgewood, Washington, so they could have a look at the ring. But all was not as it seemed. First and foremost, number 1 mistake. Never invite if you meet anybody that's selling this thing, you don't meet these folks at your house. You don't want these folks knowing where you stay. If anything, you meet these motherfuckers in a crowded ass parking lot or inside the grocery store. Okay? I ain't finna walk out nowhere with you. Nothing. Let me keep going. When the couple arrived that night, Sanders was home with his wife and 2 sons, aged 10 and 14. He let the couple into the house. As soon as they were inside, however, the husband pulled out a handgun and ordered everyone to get on the floor. While they tied up the Sanders family, 2 or more men forced their way into the home. One of the new arrivals got rough and smacked Sanders' 14-year-old son with the barrel of his pistol. That's sad. That was more than James Sanders could take. Wrenching himself free of the restraints, he dove at the man who hit his son, only to be shot 3 times. He died in his wife's arms, in front of his terrified children. 3 days later, a traffic stop in California led to the arrest of 3 of the suspects. Kiyoshi Higashi, Joshua Reese, and Amanda Knight. A few days later, the fourth suspect, Claiborne Bernard, turned himself in to face a massive statewide manhunt. The 4 of them received sentences of 79 to 123 years in prison. When they give people 79 to 100, sometimes they be giving these folks 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 600 years. I don't know why they just don't say life in prison without a possibility of parole. I guess they wanted to make it sound like it's more than it really is. I don't know. But that is really, really sad. The fact that this man was trying to sell $1,000 diamond ring on Craigslist so he can help out his family. But where he messed up at was he invited those people to his home. And one of the dudes, you know, when the 2 people came in, the man and the woman that he assumed was a couple, when they came in, pulled the gun on him, tied him up. And then, of course, 2 other men came in and you know, one of them hit his 14-year-old son with a barrel of a pistol. And I guess it really set the man off. Of course, you got somebody who's hurting your child. You want to, at all costs, protect your child. So I guess he went to the left, and that's when he ended up losing his life in front of his wife and children. He died in his wife's arms. But I'm so happy that they caught these fools and they in prison, okay? As a matter of fact, I think I mentioned this to you guys. Over where the Juice Man's aunt and his mom live, they had a home invasion over there. It was 3 or 4 young kids. These were teenagers, y'all. These were teenagers who broke in this woman's house, they actually went in the wrong house. They was looking for some dope dealer house over there. Went in this old woman's house. She was hiding in the closet. They found a lady in the closet, took her hostage, made her go to the ATM and withdraw money. And it was a young girl that was with him, and she told him, y'all need to go ahead and kill her because she'll be able to identify us. They had a manhunt for them, ended up catching them in Birmingham when they were so stupid, went and robbed somebody else, and that's how they got caught. So, yeah. I don't know what kind of, they need to give their little asses like, I mean, these are children who were still in high school. Hadn't even graduated high school, y'all. Then went in home invading somebody's house, pulled a gun on them, kidnapped them, took them, and made them go to the ATM, and the little girl that was with them said, kill her. Thank God they didn't kill that lady because, y'all, I know her grandson, and that boy, he was ready to, he in the military, so he was ready to go AWOL, okay? All kinds of ape shit. He said, you better hope the police catch you for what I do, and I don't blame him. So, that home invasion shit, you got to be careful meeting folks off Craigslist and inviting them to your homes. You never know. They might be coming at a case to join. You never know. So, that was a sad one. Okay, this is the last two right here. According to Miranda Barber, she was 13 years old when she participated in her first murder, a gangland-style execution in a dark alley in Anchorage, Alaska. Under the guidance of a leader of a satanic cult, she shot the man because he hadn't paid the money he owed. She was already addicted to heroin and was rapidly moving up the ranks of a cult when the court ordered her to go live with her uncle in North Carolina. And for a time, it seemed like life was going back to normal for Miranda. That's when she met Elliot Barber, whom she eventually married. Together, they decided that they wanted to kill someone. So, you meet this dude, okay? When you're 13 years old, you participated in your first murder, a gang execution style dark alley murder. You meet this dude, Elliot Barber, after you moved to North Carolina or whatever, you end up getting married. And y'all decided that, how did y'all come to the conclusion that, baby, I want to do something? What, baby? I want to kill somebody. How do you even start that conversation? This shit is disturbing. Let me keep going because I want to go ahead and get through with this shit. Like I said, they decided they wanted to kill someone. They hoped it would bring them closer together. On November 1st, 2013, 18-year-old Miranda Barber posted a Craigslist personal ad looking for men who hated their wives. Okay? Looking for men who hated their wives. It wasn't long before she got a response from Troy LaFera, a 42-year-old man, and they agreed to meet on the night of November 11th. While her husband hid under a blanket in the back seat, okay? So she met this dude. The whole time she meeting him, pretending, I don't know if they was finna have sexual relations, what he thought they was finna have. Her husband, Elliot, is in the back seat hiding underneath a blanket. Miranda waited in the front for Troy. They had a signal arranged. Whenever Miranda said, "Did you see the stars tonight?" Elliot was supposed to leap out and hold the man down. And that's exactly what they did. Elliot slipped a cord around Troy's neck to strangle him, and Miranda stabbed him over 20 times. Then they dumped the body in an alley, washed the car, and they went out for dinner to celebrate. So they just sat there and lured this man on Craigslist because the man apparently hated his wife and they just felt like they wanted to kill someone. And the husband hide on the backseat underneath the blanket. Okay? She said, "Did you see the stars tonight?" He jumped out from under the blanket, put a cord around the man's neck, strangled him. She stabbed him 20 times. Then they go out to dinner to celebrate after they washed the car and dumped the man's body. Can you imagine being out of the restaurant not knowing that the motherfuckers next to you done sat there and killed somebody that they done met on Craigslist? And they out here having dinner to celebrate? Girl. Both of them were arrested the next day. And while in prison, Miranda confessed to killing 22 people in multiple states. Nobody really believes her though. Why? Why don't nobody believe her? Why? Why ain't nobody believing her? Because I'm believing her. Shit. That's something, y'all, that's sick. This is the last story right here. On March 18th, 2015, which is this year, I think I know this story right here that I'm finna read. I think I know this one. Maybe, maybe not. Michelle Wilkins was glowing with joy as she made the short trip across town to the house of Dynell Lane. I know this one. I know this story. She was 34 weeks pregnant with a little girl. The baby was healthy, and she just found a cheap bundle of maternity clothes on Craigslist. Just what she needed to cover the ever-growing baby bump. All she had to do was pick them up. When she reached Lane's home, Lane led her inside, where the two women talked for about an hour. Then, Wilkins followed Lane into the basement for the clothes, and the pleasant afternoon turned into a horror film. Without warning, Dynell Lane smashed the lava lamp over Wilkins' head and shoved her onto a bed, then used a shard of glass from the broken lamp to cut Wilkins' neck. Her hands went to Wilkinson's throat, but there was already too much blood for her to get a good grip. So she pressed the pillow over Wilkins' face. Losing consciousness and terrified for both her life and the life she carried inside of her, Wilkins tried one final desperate plea for compassion. "I love you," she gasped. Lane grabbed the kitchen knife and replied, "If you love me, you'll let me do this." Then she cut Wilkinson's unborn daughter from her womb and left the woman to bleed to death. Miraculously, Wilkins managed to regain consciousness long enough to dial 911, and she was rushed to surgery at the nearest hospital. And in the same hospital, just down the hall, a woman in the maternity ward tearfully clutched a stillborn child to her breast and told nurses that she'd had a miscarriage. It was only later that the truth came out. Dynell Lane faces 48 years in prison for the charges. So this lady, her name was, let me get it right, Michelle Wilkins. She went to this psychopath's house, Dynell Lane. She went to this lady's house to get some maternity clothes. Went inside the house, her and the lady having a conversation, all this type of stuff for an hour. And I guess, I don't know if she got comfortable with the lady or what, but the clothes was down in the basement. She followed the lady down in the basement. The lady smashes her over the head with a lava lamp. Takes a piece of the glass from the lava lamp and cut her neck. But she was trying to slit her throat, but it was too much blood for her to get a good grip. So she just smothered her. The lady told her, was trying to tell her, "I love you," to get a little bit of compassion. She was like, "If you love me, you'll let me cut this baby out." It cut the baby out of her and left her there to bleed to death. But the girl ended up gaining consciousness long enough to dial for 911. Thank God she still had her cell phone, I guess. And, the folks came and took her to the hospital, and she survived. And this damn fool, Dynell Lane, is literally in the maternity ward with the dead baby, talking about she didn't have a miscarriage. If that ain't some psychedelic ass shit right there, family. If that ain't some all because this woman went to buy some maternity clothes. And you got people who do this shit all the time. That's why a lot of people say, if you're a pregnant woman, don't be friendly. Like, if you got somebody who real friendly with you, don't be friendly, because a lot of times you got these people who are out there who are vindictive, and they'll sit there and try to cut your baby out of your stomach. This done happened several times. But I heard about this story right here, and this woman is in jail 48 years. That ain't enough, okay? Matter of fact, there was another situation that I saw on Nancy Grace, where this lady had did the exact same thing, and they was talking about not charging her with murder because the lady didn't die. You a goddamn lie. You mean to tell me this woman that you killed my baby? That's a lie. Oh, Stay off Craigslist.